welcome back to Books with Brandywine. Today is Wednesday, and so I get to share one of my new favorite books with you guys. That book is the Christmasaurus. This book was written by Tom Fletcher, who, as I understand it, is a singer-songwriter from the UK. And this book was originally published in the UK, and this year it's being published in the United States as well. I found it at my Barnes & Noble, of course, in the Christmas display that they had in the kids section. And I picked it up because it is hardcover, like actual board cover. And I love that. I can't resist those kinds of books almost every time I see them. And it had this awesome cover with a super awesome Christmasaurus on it. You can see him. The story follows this boy here who is William Trundle, and it follows the Christmasaurus, flipping back and forth between their stories throughout the book. William Trundle is a boy who got in a car accident when he was really little, before he could even remember, and ended up in a wheelchair, unable to walk for the rest of his life. In the same car, or I assume it was a car accident, but in the same accident, he also lost his mom. And so he has been raised just by his dad, Bob Trundle. But even with those hardships, life was good for William Trundle. He was happy. He had friends. He had his love of dinosaurs. He had his whole future. Until this little girl shows up. Little Miss Brenda Payne. I don't know if you can see her. Wicked as she is beautiful, she is the worst kind of bully. Well, I don't know if there's a worse kind of bully. They're all pretty bad. But she is really, really bad. She makes his life horrible. All because of one little mistake, him accidentally ruining her first day of school. She has turned the entire school against him. She has hijacked his best friends and turned them against him. And suddenly life is no longer the fun, happy life that he knew previously. And something that she says gets him started to think that maybe his dad isn't as happy as he thinks he is either. And so he is in desperate need of a friend. He's feeling left out. He's feeling horrible about the fact that he can't do what the other kids can do. Meanwhile, there's this Christmasaurus, who is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at him. He's so cool. He's got, like, ice on top. His back has a pattern of snowflakes, which they talk about in the book. He is just absolutely gorgeous. But he is the only one of his kind. As we know, dinosaurs went extinct millions of years ago. So he has no one that he's like. And everyone at the North Pole is completely different from him. They can all do things that he can't do. And he just wants to not feel so different. He wants to be able to do what some of the other creatures can do. And most importantly, he wants to be able to fly, like the flying reindeer. And so through their adventures, eventually they come together and they end up having a huge adventure, trying to stay alive from the hunter, who is this guy right here. And the hunter is even more bad news than Brenda Payne. So, in short, I loved this book. Am I going to be reading it again every Christmas? You betcha. Am I going to be reading it out loud to my son every Christmas? Definitely, without a doubt. Because this book isn't just your normal storybook, normal novel book. It is a story, and it's being told to us by a master storyteller. We never actually get introduced to the narrator. He's just there telling the story, but it completely reads like someone telling you a story. And it's so much fun. I mean, like, look, even just on the first page, look at this first page. Can you see, like, how the writings change, and there's different kinds of fonts, and it makes you, like, read it the way that it's written. And then there's, like, cool words, like this one. It's like something big, something astronomically, intergalactically, outer spacey, wacy big. And it's talking about the asteroid that ends up destroying, or the meteor that ends up destroying the dinosaurs. But the whole book is filled with made up words and like Mamasaurus and Dadoculus, Dadlodocus. And so it's filled with like a bunch of made up words. It's filled with all kinds of imagery, just like crazy imagery. And then like this page. Like, just reading this page, I wanted to read it out loud so bad to my son. And it's because, like, he's talking normal, and then he starts yelling. And then he forgets that he's yelling and apologizes and has to restart the sentence without yelling. So the whole book is just made to be read out loud. It's made to be read with motion and activity and, like, just all kinds of awesome stuff. And sometimes the words can get a little bit superfluous, but, like, see if I can find an example. I can't find an example, but, like, a lot of times he'll say words frontwards and backwards, repeating them in the opposite order to make extra emphasis and I guess sound extra goofy, and it does succeed in sounding extra goofy, but sometimes it gets a little bit superfluous. But it is like the perfect story to get to read out loud to your kid. And even to have your kid get to read out loud, I think this book would be a good book for them to really get into reading and like enjoy reading. But, and there's a lot of singing in this book because the elves in the book always talk in rhyme, or they always end their sentences in rhyme, and they sing all the time. So there's a lot of songs in this book. There's some new Christmas lore, like Santa Claus eats the carrots, and it's the reindeer that eats the mincemeat pies, which I guess aren't mincemeat pies anymore. They're made with nuts and berries, so just mince pies. And he describes the North Pole. They introduce a fun few new lore things. I loved getting to see the North Pole. It sounded like such a fun place to get to be and to get to see. And there's a map of it in here too, so you can get to see it visually. That was also one of the things that I really loved about this book, is there are like pictures throughout the book. Some of them are like, that's just a word picture. But like these, like there are these huge illustrations throughout the book. And those illustrations were done by Shane Devries. I'm really bad at pronunciations, but it's Devries. And I will try to link to his website, but I don't think he has a Twitter or a Facebook page. I think I did find a website for him though. So I will try to link that in the comments so that you can look him up. Because he has, like, he's an artist. He has a bunch of art besides just this book. Although I love all of the art that he has in the book. It's actually one of my favorite styles for storybooks, with the button noses and the beautiful creatures. Overall, like, I would give this book like a 6 out of 5. I had so much fun reading this book. It is a very fast book, so it would not be unreasonable for me to be able to read this to my son every Christmas. New Christmas tradition. So excited about this book. And I don't know if he's gonna write more about this Christmasaurus, but I think in like the interview part, like he was talking about wanting to find out what else happens to the Christmasaurus. And I was like, yes, there might be another one, but there might not be another one, but there might be another one. And if there's another one, I will totally get it because I love the Christmasaurus. He is so adorable. And I loved how it ended. There was definitely a surprise. I was like, whoa, okay, that just happened. But for the rest of it, I really liked the ending. It is a Christmas story. So, of course, well, I don't want to say that because I don't want people to, like, get mad at me for spoilers or something. But this whole book, it was just fun. It was fun to read. It was fun to visualize. It was fun to get to hear the voices out loud in my head and to get to read it out loud because I did get to read some of it out loud to my son. So I love this book. Go out and buy this book. If you have kids anywhere in your life, go out and buy this book and read it to them and help encourage their love of reading, because this book would definitely do it. If you just like reading kids' books, go out and buy it. If you like reading Christmas stories, go out and get it. I can't think of any reason not to go out and get this book. It's just fun. It's a fun book. All right. I will see you guys on Friday. And we're almost to Christmas time.